So we're in the GT4 and it's pouring down with rain, and this is the first time it's actually rained since I've owned the car. So we're going to go for a drive and see what it's like, turn traction control and everything off. We're on the Cup2 tyres at the moment. I will be getting some Pilot Sport 4S tyres, or in fact I've got them already, but I'll be getting them fitted sometime next week to see how they compare to the Cup2 tyres. But for now, I want to drive it with Cup2s in the rain, see what it's like. Because I'm expecting it to be pretty bad, like pretty slippy, because they're obviously a sort of track-focused tyre. So it's like 13 degrees Celsius outside, in the wet. How are they going to do? We'll see. We'll see. There's some fun little tight hairpin bends up here, and we'll see if we can slide it around a bit. We'll try not to die. That would be kind of embarrassing, wouldn't it? Less than a week after I bought the car, dying would not be good. Doesn't really want to know there in second gear, I'll tell you that straight away. Gets pretty lively there, it's nice. It starts sliding there, but then it grips up, and even with the clutch kick, it does not want to know. I'll apologise as well, I've not brought the proper microphone, so you might not be able to hear me very well. But we'll have to make do, I'm afraid. In terms of general driving though, in the wet, these are really impressive. Like, considering they're supposed to be like a dry track day tyre. I haven't had any issues at all, even with like standing water everywhere like it is today. Any issues. First gear it'll slide. Second gear you can be flat out on the throttle all the way to the red line in pouring, like soaking wet conditions, and it just grips the whole time. Like, there's no traction issues at all there. I think partly because this car's got such little torque down low. Like, I'm still driving it and trying to drift it as if it's a turbo car that I'm used to, where you've got so much more torque down low and in the mid-range. And like, there's always like a slight delay with the turbo cars, obviously, as the turbo spools up. So I'm used to just sort of keeping my foot in it, and then like a second later it'll suddenly start spinning the wheels up for loads more. It doesn't happen with this at all. Like, you've got to get all the way to like 5,000 or 6,000 RPM before it'll actually like just start sort of lighting the wheels up. Obviously there, that was just like a really bad bit of road. That's why it slid a tiny bit there. But yeah, normally you've got to be like 5,000 RPM. You've got to be like 5,000 RPM before it will actually just break loose on its own. It's fun in the wet. In the dry, it's not really fun in terms of trying to slide around with these tyres on because they're just way too grippy. But in the wet, on some slightly sketchy bits of tarmac, it wants to move around a little bit, especially now that I've adjusted the anti-roll bars. We've got softer at the front, and then I tightened up the ones on the rear, so that should make it sort of understeer less, oversteer more. That's the general idea. When I drove it in the dry, after making that change to the anti-roll bars, I can't say I noticed any real difference, because again, in the dry, on Cup2s, in a car like this, on the road, you're just not getting near the limits of grip, really, unless you've been an absolute hooligan. But yeah, I've got some Pilot Sport 4S tyres, which are like a sort of step down from the Cup2s. So I'm going to put them on, probably in the next couple of days. I'll put that in this same video. And then we'll go for another drive in the wet and the dry and see what it's like in comparison. Because I want it to be a bit more playful in the dry. I know that's not what these cars are designed to do, and it's kind of like, you bought the wrong car if you want to drift around, I get that. But like the R8 was a good balance of being a grippy, serious sort of, not track focused, but like a, you know what I mean, like a grip focused car, and yet you could still have fun and slide it around. So you can have it both ways. I guess just because that had a bit more power and torque, made it easier to slide it on the throttle, and probably less overall like mechanical grip than this. But yeah, I'm not trying to make this into a drift car, but if we can make it more playful, why not try and do that? So yeah, we'll put the Pilot Sport 4S tyres on, we'll see how it goes with them. I guess that'll probably be the next thing you'll see, so let's cut to that. There's an insect in here. Get out, mate. Oh, he's gone behind the dash. Okay, well, there's a mosquito or something in my dashboard now, so that's nice. Alright, we're back with the Pilot Sport 4S tyres on this time, and proper microphones. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry the audio was so bad in that previous segment, but I'm sure you're used to shit quality on this channel by now. So if I can remember which way the parking brake goes, because it's very unintuitive, and if we turn traction control off, and noisy exhaust mode on, obviously, and then we'll go for a quick blast and see what these are like. Obviously it's dry today. I have driven it in the wet with these tyres on. I did film a bit. In fact, let me just explain this first. I did film a bit in the wet, but it's kind of pointless. Like, nothing happened. It doesn't slide at all now with these tyres on in the wet. Like, on the same roads, same conditions, same temperature, everything. It's actually a really good comparison. It just doesn't slide. It won't break traction. Maybe for like a split second. I'll see if I can find any clips from when it just slid for like a tiny bit, but more grippy than the other tyres were. That's kind of what you expect, like Cup2 tyres worse in the wet than PS4S. That's pretty much what you expected, but it was interesting to see just how much more grippy they are, like even at like 14 degrees. I imagine the colder it gets, the worse the cups get, and the kind of more the difference increases. But yeah, for now we'll go out, see what these are like in the dry. I'm assuming it's still going to be way too grippy to actually do anything with. In terms of it being like playful at all, because this car in general has just got a lot of grip. So, oh god, we just nearly killed a pigeon. Yeah, the car in general's got loads of grip, so I don't think just putting some slightly less grippy tyres on is going to make a massive difference. Does not want to know at all. Jesus. Like, not even a hint of wheel spin, like even with quite an aggressive turn and a clutch kick. Sheesh. So yeah, I've been driving around for a while, and that is pretty much the conclusion I've come to. It doesn't come on stock at all. And that's even with some extra pressure in the rear tyres. We use a little trick that we use in drifting. When a car has got more grip than you want it to have, you pump the rear tyres up. Like MX-5s and stuff will use like crazy high pressures, you know, they've not got a lot of power to work with, so they'll go like 50, 60, sometimes 70 psi in the rear tyres of an MX-5 or like a BMW E36 or something, like a 318. It's got like no power compared to how much grip it's got. So I've pumped these up to like 39, 40 psi, somewhere around there on the rear, just to try and make it a little bit more fun. As you saw there, in like first gear, hard turning, clutch kick, and that was foot buried to the floor the whole time. I didn't lift off there to like stop sliding. It just grips up again after like 0.5 seconds of sliding. So yeah, it's not a drift car, we knew that. But in the wet with the Cup2s on, it was actually quite fun on like some slippery bits of tarmac anyway. It wasn't that slippery on most of the road, as you can probably tell from the videos. But yeah, this video was originally going to be just like a comparison between like what's the Cup2 like compared to the 4S. I was expecting the Cup2 to be a lot worse in the wet than it was. It was actually really good. Like, I would not mind driving on that Cup2 in the wet at, you know, the temperatures we were at, which was like 13 or 14 degrees. I wouldn't mind driving like that all the time. That was fine. So yeah, I think that's changed my mind on what the Cup2 is. I've always thought of it as like a real track-focused, like almost semi-slick tyre, but compared to the semi-slicks we use in drifting, like the Westlakes and stuff on the rear, those things are like ice until you've done a couple of burnouts to get them up to temperature. Like, if I was just driving them on the road, you'd be in a fucking field straight away. Like, they are really bad until they've got like a decent amount of temperature into them. Whereas the Cup2s, you drive them on the road, you don't have to warm them up at all. They turn fine, they brake fine, everything works perfectly, even at like 10 degrees. Whereas, yeah, the proper semi-slicks do not work like that at all. But yeah, overall, wait, I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm done. Actually, wait, no, there's trees. Noise! I've never had a car that it makes so much difference when there's just like a few trees around to how the exhaust sounds. Like, normally you've got to go through a tunnel or something, but this, as soon as there's just a few trees and bushes at the side of the road, it sounds so much better. It's weird. I guess just different frequencies of sound like bounce off things differently. But yeah, this which is really good because you don't need to find a tunnel all the time to really enjoy the exhaust sound. But yeah, anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. What was I saying? Tyres. Yeah, tyres. Oh, I did some burnouts. Do you want to see that? Yeah, let's show that.
me not to buy this when you want to sell it.
So those clips were with these same tyres, the 4S. That was literally the day I got those put on. You got to scrub your tyres in, haven't you? So yeah, that was the day I got them put on, and whilst it might look like, oh, they just broke traction really easily and it was real slippy, they were inflated a bit, like I said. They were like 10 psi higher than they normally would be. And that surface was like a bit looser than a normal road. And also that was like all first gear. You might have noticed at the end of one of the donuts, I tried to switch it to second quick and just give it a few clutch kicks, and it just bogged down straight away. It doesn't want to know in second gear. So yeah, it was all first gear, which you're very rarely using on the road, so that helped with making it spin more easily. Also, the reason the donuts were like super slow and weird is because I was trying to do a burnout, and this thing just will not let you do a stationary burnout. So the only way I could get it to do it was to like just hard on the left foot brake and rotate slowly. It seemed fine with that. It's happy to let you do that, but as soon as you try to stay still and be on the left foot brake, the engine would just bog down. I don't know if it's cutting power like the ECU because you're on the brake, or if it's that the brakes are like more rear biased than most cars I'm used to. So when you're left foot braking and full on the throttle, the brakes are actually overpowering the rear wheels. And I think again it comes down to this just not having a lot of torque down low as well. So unless you're already right at the red line, then it's probably just a case of the brakes are just too strong for the wheels, not the engine, sorry. But yeah. So yeah, that's why the slow weird burnouts. And yeah, that's about all there is to say on that really. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this completely pointless video. Cup2's better than expected. PS4S 4S, good all-rounder. Can do donuts really slowly. Oh, that mosquito's just come out of the dash. Get out, get out, get out, my guy. Get out. Is he gone? Where's he gone? I think he's gone. Anyway, we need some kind of outro here, don't we? What are we going to say? Like, share, subscribe. All that bullshit. Oh, maybe we should show the graph. The graph that every YouTuber has to show, legally required, if you make a YouTube video. Oh, the mosquito's in here now. What are you doing, you knobhead? Get out. It's not even a mosquito. What are you? Should probably be... He decided he likes it in there now. He's staying there. Anyway, like, share, subscribe for more mosquito updates. He's gone inside now. Oh. Anyway, I think that'll do for this video because I'm just rambling about nothing as usual. So next one will be the track day in this, and then there will finally be some 370Z twin turbo updates soon. So yeah, track day coming next, and I will see you there.